In today's video, I'm going to be talking about why rest works until you start training again. Rest is awesome. It is a fantastic recovery tool because it helps things calm down after training. It helps the muscles recover. It helps our joints recover. It helps the nervous system recover. And we need this for a certain period of time so that acute training stress can settle, we recover, and then we can repeat the training bout and continue to adapt and grow stronger and improve endurance or whatever other physical quality it is that we're trying to train. Rest can become a problem though, because when we get injured or suffer recurring injuries, we need to find a nice balance between training stress and recovery. And this is always the case, but particularly need to pay attention to it, especially if you're someone who has recurring injuries. So why is this the case? Because when you have a recurring injury, the common theme is that you will get injured or symptoms will flare up, you'll take time off and rest, and then you'll come back and you'll just jump straight back into the same training you were doing at the same volume or slightly less volume, and then those symptoms will come back right again as they were before. And this is a really frustrating process because you're like, man, I've been resting, I should be recovered, I should be right to go again, and then you go back straight into it and you're not okay. So this is a problem that a lot of people face who have recurring issues, because when we rest, we allow symptoms to settle because we offload our body, so the tissue sensitivity settles, it allows the nervous system to settle down, it allows the joint stress to calm down, and then you feel really good because you've had time off the thing that is bothering you. Rest can be a problem because if we take time off, it causes, yes, things feel better, but the tissue tolerance starts to go from here and it just slowly comes down to here. And the longer the time we take off, the more that tolerance is going to drop. And then the more we allow our tolerance to drop, the less loading we're going to be able to achieve when we get back into training again. So this is an issue because when you are training at a certain level, but you're suffering a recurring issue, you need to be okay with dropping down just a little bit, but not too much, so that we can allow symptoms to settle, but not do so much work that it causes symptoms to continuously flare up on this rotating cycle, which in one of my previous videos, I mentioned that boom-bust cycle where you train, you get hurt, you rest, and then you repeat that cycle over and over again. And this is a big problem because we never really get back to that point of being able to train consistently with minimal pain, with full function, and seeing progress, which is ultimately why we're doing this. We want to see progress in an area of our lives that provide us purpose and value, and trying to train when you're having these recurring issues, it can be a really frustrating process. It's important to realize that this is not a harmful problem. So we're not causing necessarily tissue damage, we're just irritating a sensitive tissue, and it's continuing to let us know that, hey, I'm not okay with this level of volume and intensity that you're putting me under on a recurring basis. So I'm going to just keep letting you know that I'm here, and until you start to back off and allow me to settle down enough so that then we can push again, I'm just going to keep letting you know that I'm there. So what we need to do is try and modify training a little bit. This is the first step. We need to try and keep training in there, but modify it to variations of either an exercise or modality that are not going to cause a flare up, okay? And then the next step we want to take is also by dropping volume a little bit. So can we keep doing the same thing, but do it with less volume and or intensity? Because if we can, you're still going to have some level of training effect going on, which ultimately we want to keep some level of training effect to avoid detraining as much as we can, but not have flare-ups hitting us in the face every time we start to push it a little bit. So keeping the training modality in there that potentially is causing us these flare-ups is important, but if we do need to remove it entirely, then we need to find the next closest thing that's going to allow us to keep training with a reasonable level of volume intensity so that we can minimize any deconditioning that could potentially happen with either altered training or lowered volume. But like I said, if we're resting completely from everything, that's a problem, because we are then dropping that tolerance level to a very low level. So when we come back, we're just going to find this recurring issue happening over and over and over again, and we're never really going to get into that position that is a really enjoyable training experience. And this is usually what will lead people to quit, because they start thinking, oh, I'm injury prone, I'm fragile, I just can't do this because I keep getting hurt. And all it is literally just poor training load management. And once we can get that right, then you'll find that you're not going to have these issues on a recurring basis. Like, yes, you will have pain from time to time. You may have some sort of functional deficit from time to time. But if we know how to work around those things and keep pushing the needle forward, then you're going to continue to have an enjoyable training experience. And over time, things are going to compound, and you're going to see yourself starting to hit PBs again or PRs again. And ultimately, this is why we do this, because we want to have that fun and enjoyable training experience. Ultimately, we need to understand that rest is a tool, and we can use it from time to time where necessary to allow symptoms to settle, allow the body to recover from training intensity and volume. But if we overdo the rest, we start to dip into that issue of tolerance dropping down. And then when we come back to training again, we overstep that mark of tolerance, and then we're going to have things like pain start to creep back in. Remember that rest is a tool. We need to understand that it can be used at times when needed to help the body recover and facilitate adaptation to training. However, if it is an overused tool, then that is when we're going to see tolerance dropping, and ultimately deconditioning is going to come in, and then we're not going to have this fun training experience, because we will start experiencing that boom bust cycle from overstepping that tolerance mark on the regular and seeing these flare-ups happening. And we'll see them as like recurring issues, but really it is just a load management problem. And if we can get that right, we're going to have that fun training experience. Guys, if you did find some help out of this video, please like, share and subscribe. If you've got any questions or anything you want to discuss, please put it in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.